Hello and welcome back to the Making Fire podcast. This is a podcast where two longtime besties talk about their favorite TV show, Survivor. This week, we're covering episode 4 of Survivor 48. Great episode.
Great episode.
I'm so excited to talk about it. But before we get down into the dirty details, Maddie, I have to ask you, how are you doing?
Thank you for asking. This week, oh my god, of course I have to talk about the new Hunger Games book. I know Riley hasn't read it yet, and a lot of people have not read it and or finished it, so obviously this will be spoiler free. But what a book. That's actually my favorite book I've read in a long time.
Wow.
And I wanted to rank this Hunger Games books at this point, now that there's 5 of them. I haven't reread the original trilogy recent enough to like dethrone the first one as the best book. So I'm gonna leave that as number 1. I'm gonna put Sunrise on the Reaping at 2. It is so good.
Love that.
It just is the perfect mix of everything. Like it gives you such a better picture of why the first, like the trilogy takes place. It gives you such a good background on so many characters. I think it also hits like the nostalgia of like you recognize so many faces, and it just like start to finish, I could not put it down. I literally read it in a day, and it is 400 pages long.
I love that for you.
I'm just so obsessed. I can't wait for the movie. And I was even thinking about it. I'm like, if you could tell 5th grade me, who was reading The Hunger Games for the first time, that I would still be reading this at 24 years old and there'd be new books coming out and it still takes up so much room in my head, I feel like that's crazy. There's no way.
No, I'm so excited to read it. I'm on the edge of my seat. I've been hearing people talk about it, that it's good. I'm gonna love diving into Hamish's character. I'm so excited. I recently, within the last 2 years, summer of 2023, that was like, I mean, not my big reading thing, but I studied abroad that summer, and I took the Hunger Games books with me, so like while I was traveling I could read them. And great decision. I had never read the trilogy. I'd only seen the first 2. I haven't even seen the Mockingjay Part 1 and 2 yet. I've only seen the first 2. And then the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But I read... Oh, and I bought the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes before I left for my study abroad too. So I had all 4 books to read. It was so good. And it was... reading it recently, I was like, this is good fiction. Like, this is good. Like, obviously, I'm a little bit outside of the age range, but I'm like...
Maybe for the first books, like, because like I said, I have not read those, honestly, since I was, like, probably in high school.
Yeah.
But I feel like Sunrise on the Reaping, I feel like that was, like... I feel it's age appropriate for me.
I think the further the books, because I think I mean, if you're reading these books when they're coming out, like, you're aging up. You're aging with the books. I feel like the audience is growing, right? So like each book gets a little bit more, and you're learning more and more details, right? It comes less about, I mean, obviously at face value, the Hunger Games is mature, like, content, but like you get into like politics, you're getting into like capitalism, you're getting into all of these like more like adult themes, right? I really loved Mockingjay. One of my favorite fiction books. Of the original 3, I think that one is my favorite.
That's okay. That's actually crazy because I think that's my least favorite out of all 5.
I just liked. I think so I hadn't seen Mockingjay, and so I already knew the plot points of. I mean, what's in the movie. Obviously, there's stuff in the movie that's stuff in the book that's not in the movies. But I pretty much knew baseline what was happening in the first and second book. And then reading Mockingjay, it was like a clean slate. Like, I didn't know anything. And so I was like, I was on... Spoiler alert for Mockingjay. This book is so old. Like, I don't know. I was on the plane when Finnick died. I was reading it.
Oh my god.
It looked over at one of my peers who was traveling with me. And I was like, I think it was one of the twins. It was Kanovia or Cavani. And I was like, oh my god, they did not just kill Finnick. And just like that too, like, it happened so quickly.
So fast.
I was like, oh my god, he's dead.
Yeah.
Gag.
I think that one, it's an interesting book because it's the only one that doesn't have games.
Right. And I think that one is, I mean, not saying that I love the games. I think that obviously for a young person, I think that's what draws you in.
Yeah.
But something about just like them doing this revolution, and Katniss
Yeah.
wants to, like, Katniss has made the face, like she doesn't want to do it, and then all these people around her are dying, and then really the reason this all starts in the first place is because of Prim. The reason all of this happens is because of Prim, just for Prim to die,
Yeah.
just for it to mean basically nothing at the end of it, because she doesn't even survive to the end of the book.
Exactly.
Like,
Okay.
how heartbreaking is that?
You need to watch the movies. I did a rewatch of them all, I think right before Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes came out.
Mm.
Because I thought they were going to be leaving this like streaming service only to find out they were already on another one that I already had. So I was like, "Oh, I have to watch all of these right now. I'm not going to be able to again." And then it was fine. I feel like Mockingjay Part 1, the movie, is not like my favorite, but I make this reference all the time of Dune, like the Dune movies. I think Mockingjay Part 2 is an incredible movie that you could not have if you didn't have Part 1. Same thing, Dune Part 1 is boring, but it sets up for an amazing Dune Part 2. So I recommend. I think it's so good. But anyways, that's what I have been up to this week because it's all consuming. And I wanted to read it, like, I wasn't planning on reading it so fast. It just like truly drew me in and was so incredible from start to finish. But I also just wanted to like be able to freely be on. I wanted to open the floodgates of the book reviews and people talking about it on TikTok.
Right.
And so I wanted to be able to watch all of that without like being spoiled on anything. But that's been most of my week. Also, we have a new colleague in the podcast space that I just wanted to shout out. Amy Poehler started a podcast called Good
I feel like I saw that.
It is so good and funny. The first two episodes, the first one is Tina Fey, and then she also had Martin Short, and it's so much fun. I highly recommend if you just like want a silly, fun podcast to listen to of just like funny people talking. I just love funny people. And I love Amy Poehler. I'm a huge fan. I've always loved her. So,
Love
but
that.
that's that.
Our peer, our colleague, yeah.
At this point, yes,
Our equal.
colleague. Our equal, some might say. Amy Poehler.
Yeah.
I love that. But Riley, how are you?
I'm doing so good. Every couple episodes, I feel like probably once a month, my thing I talk about is the TV that I'm watching. I don't know, but just so much good TV's coming out right now. Maddie and I just had a very in-depth discussion about The White Lotus. One of my I don't know. I don't watch a lot of scripted TV. Probably my favorite scripted TV show. I don't know of all time, but
I think I agree with that.
the dialogue is amazing. It's stunning to watch. It's a lot of people. I feel this is my first season I'm watching live, and I think a lot of people this is their first season watching live as well. I see a lot of critique being of this season specifically about the pacing, but I just feel like that's what makes this show so great. Is that obviously like you're getting one episode per week, which I'm obsessed with. But I think like it being drawn out, the story being drawn out across all 8 episodes, like you don't get the resolve.
Burn.
You don't get the resolve until literally the last episode.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. Like each week it leaves me, and Maddie and I said this back when the first episode premiered, but you get this like you're thinking about it all week leading up to the next episode. You're thinking about it consistently, and then it premieres and you're like, oh my god, like everything's all these stories are coming together, but at the same time like they're being open to a whole new array of possible questions.
And like even I think about this every week as I'm watching the intro, the like theme song. I'm like, this is just such like this is TV on another level.
Right.
Like, truly what compares to this? Like the story, the acting, like the visuals, it is just such an incredible piece of like art in my opinion. Like I am like, oh my god, I get to watch this every week. Like this is beautiful and like horrifying and like all of the emotions. I think The White Lotus might be my favorite scripted TV show of all time. Like It was so
I'm really
good.
enjoying it. I'm loving that. I'm paying for an HBO subscription just to watch The White Lotus, and I'm also watching The Pit right now, which is on HBO.
Mm.
It's if you're a longtime fan of the pod, flashback. I don't. This was like last spring. I was talking about like my little medical show that I liked watching on YouTube. This is
Yes.
kind of like actually the same thing except it's scripted and not a documentary.
Which is
It's
crazy because when you were talking about the YouTube series, it sounded scripted. Like I was
yeah, no, the YouTube series it's real life, but this is basically that except it's scripted and it's not in the UK. It takes place in Pittsburgh,
Ooh.
but it's really good. It takes across a whole day, and each episode is an hour in the ER. It takes place in the ER, and it's really fun. It has a good cast of people that are fun to watch. Nobody that I was really familiar with before I watched the show, but the doctors are really interesting. And I keep forgetting I binged watched most of it. And I caught up. The last episode of the season premieres tonight, which is kind of great. The season finale, one might say. But it's been really interesting. I'd recommend it. It's really, I got a little overstimulated the first episode, and I think that's what kind of makes it exciting. Is that it's very much, it's not like Grey's Anatomy where it's like 3 cases per episode. Like it's constant things happening at all time. Like I'm like, oh wow, this
Mm.
must be what an ER is actually like because this is I was like, there's within the first 15 minutes of the first episode, I was like, Jesus Christ, what is? I had to pause it and I had to be like, what is happening right now? It's crazy, a lot going on. I highly recommend it. It's a fun cast, good storylines. It makes you think. I'm like, oh, wow, this is really happening throughout the day. But um, really, I would recommend that. This season of Drag Race is so good. Everybody come watch Drag Race if you're not watching Drag Race. I am eating it up. Traders got the last 2 Emmys. The last no, they got the last Emmy, because
Mhm.
season 16 of Drag Race lost the Emmy. Drag Race saw that and they are aiming for that season 17 Emmy. They are pushing for it. They said Traders,
They said,
we let
"Take
it.
it from our cold, dead hands."
Literally, they said traders, we let the crown slip once, we're not letting it slip again, babe. They are putting in the work for that Emmy. A great season of Drag Race. And yeah, great TV. But let's get into the reason for the season, the reason for the pod.
Yes.
And jump into another great season of reality TV, in my opinion. Can we talk about Survivor 48?
Yeah, what an arc from us truly not liking the first episode.
No, I see. That's what I'm loving that the turnaround was so quick because
Yeah.
I would say episode 2 I was like okay warming up a little bit, but 3 and 4 gotten me fed. I am fed. I'm in this. I love this cast of people. Their
Hmm.
dynamic is so interesting. I think this is and it's I say this obviously it's like a hyperbole. I can't think of every single swap episode in Survivor history right now, but I'm thinking that this is one of the best swap episodes in Survivor history.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching this and I'm like this will go down the way that we had an actual like shakeup. Like
Yeah.
luck was on our side. Things were mixed up. Love that for one. It's the way that they were split up is so interesting. Who got put where? I'm just like
So good.
and obviously the strategy that comes from this episode, I'm like I feel like in the new era we rarely are getting strategy like this so early, and I'm saying rarely because I'm just thinking in like I don't know the first couple seasons. I feel like the last couple seasons it's been performing on a high like
Hmm.
um this isn't Drag Race. Survivor has been on a steady incline, I feel like
Yeah.
since like that's what I say is like since 44 it's been ticking upwards. um I'm loving it. I'm loving this season so far.
Me too. This episode and last
Great
episode.
episode. Amazing episode. I was eating it. Last episode was good too. I forget like the tribal last episode was crazy and it's like everything is crazy. I'm loving this season. We're 4 episodes in, but I think that is a good claim for me to make after not liking the first episode. The premiere flopped
Yeah.
for me, but this is I'm turning up. I'm turning up for Survivor 48.
Yeah.
Let's get into the details, the dirty, dirty details, one might say. We don't do like a post tribal scene at Vula. They're the morning after. And the
Hmm.
three remaining OG Vula members, Cedric, Say, and Mary, they are complaining about the night. They said it was probably the worst night they've had there yet. After Tribal, they come back and it was raining and cold, and it just was uncomfortable.
They have nothing. It is a bare bones
Bare bone. There is
camp.
no protection from any of the elements. They are
No.
just enduring it.
Yeah.
That would
I
make me go.
know.
That would make me go actually insane. Like if it's raining outside and you're sleeping outside, you just sort of have to live with it.
Yeah, like Cedric holds out his hands and you can see like his how wet they are
Oh
and just like,
God.
oh, gross. That
Yeah,
sucks.
not fun. In the morning, obviously, Say played her idol and played her idol a couple episodes ago, and they are sure that Justin did not have it when he left.
Hmm.
So Say and Cedric are like, we need to go look for this idol, so it's in our hands. Like we know what's going on. But it's a new era. It's a new vibe. It's a new community in the
Yeah.
Vula tribe. And Mary says, "Oh, we need to leave." Or Mary, Say says we need to leave Mary a note. We need to let her know that we didn't just take off without her, so she knows where we're at. So they leave a message for Mary in sticks.
Like, could
Famously, you
Mary
can't write on Soraya. Like you don't get pen and paper. You can't really do anything.
could Mary not have figured out like, oh, I come back to camp and they're both gone. I wonder where they might be.
Like, were y'all really going to be that far away
Where else
that
would you have gone?
exactly. I was like so interested, but I'm like so kind. Like you can tell the tables are really turning here. People are really trying to do something
Yeah.
different, trying to be inclusive, a little bit of DEI action. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They Say knows moving forward. She's looking for this idol with Cedric. She knows moving forward that she needs to proceed with caution. She's grateful
Yeah.
that he saved her, but this is what we said last episode that like Say like you voted for her twice.
Twice.
Twice and not even to mention like I guess he did let her in on the Kevin vote, but I was going to say like that vote she was originally like being left out of and like
And
he's had some shady practices this season towards Say.
not to bring it up again, but that second vote for her at Tribal was fully not needed.
Like crazy work, Cedric. Like
Oh,
get him. I need him on the pod. Like I need to just break it down with him.
I feel like I'm not getting enough of like, what is he actually thinking?
It's weird to me. I see Cedric and love him so far. Like the moments that he's making, I'm really enjoying. But I
Yeah.
look at him, I look at his archetype, and I look at him on Survivor, and I'm like, why do I feel like you weren't supposed to last longer than the first vote?
Yeah, like,
Like part of me is saying you were definitely supposed to go home first, and you're still here in the running, which is great for you, and I'm excited for you. And like, because he has given us, whether he knows it or not, or whether he meant to or not, he's given us some great moments so far this season.
I wouldn't. I'm not really sure what his strategy is or like what he's thinking going into
Yeah.
these moments.
We definitely get some moments of like seeing through, but it's like not comprehensible moment. Like I'm not hearing what he's saying and being like, okay, got it. I'm hearing what he's saying and I'm like,
Not sure. How did we get to that
how do we
conclusion?
get sort of from point A to point B to point C? Like I don't know if there's a clear through line there.
You know what? It's kind of giving. Danielle on the Traders when she wanted to get Boston Rob out, so first she decides to target Carolyn.
Right,
Like I hear what you're saying. Like
right.
your sort of plan to get there is not really adding up to me
To me
personally.
personally, but again, I'm not you. I'm not in your situation. Who
Yeah.
knows what you know that I don't know? Like what could be
Yeah.
happening? Mary, similar to Say, Mary has a moment where she's like, I want to work with Say. She knows that it's better to work with Say than against her,
Hmm.
but ultimately, like like be mindful.
Yeah.
Be
Be
mindful,
demure.
be demure, cutesy, what I might say.
Yeah.
Be mindful of what has happened, but don't let it like stop you. You know, like don't let it like create a
Yeah.
too negative of a crack, but like remember what happened.
Yeah.
That's giving. I was saying that like the word some of the words I just left my mouth moments ago was giving very much my speech at graduation. Just the way the phrasing of what I just said, I something in my brain like I went back to being on that podium, cap flying off my
Oh,
head.
almost a year ago.
I know, isn't that crazy? One of my oh my god, twice mentioned on the pod, my friend Cavani is going to be the commencement speaker this year, and I'm so excited for her.
Oh, that's awesome. You know
I
what I
know.
realized, not to change it again.
What?
Um, After graduation day this year, like after the anniversary of it for me, I will have been out of college longer than I was in college.
Girl, you're old as fuck.
That was crazy to
You're old
realize.
as fuck. um, Say admits again in her confessional that she was really hurt by Cedric,
I would be.
and it felt nice having Mary's support. Oh, this wasn't in the confessional. This was to Mary, because Mary was like, I know he's not your dad, obviously, but he was kind of like a father figure. Like, he kind of held that position for you out here. And Say's like, yeah, he did, and I was extremely hurt when he did what he did to me.
Yeah.
And Say's like, I felt nice to have your support when, like, you did not have to support me in that moment. It felt nice to have you there. It felt very Girl So Confusing remix featuring Lord.
Yes.
Girl So
Yeah.
Confusing remix featuring Lord.
Featuring Lord specifically.
It's so confusing sometimes. I know it too well. All my ladies out there, I know it well.
Yeah.
Tribe swap is about to happen, everybody. All the people come in. All the people from all the tribes come in. What is going to happen? GAG, Justin is gone. And Cedric has a moment. There's, like, I keep wanting to say vulva. Logie and Siva.
Oh, yeah.
Vula.
Mhm.
Logie and Siva are there, and they're excited, fresh faced. All 6 people are still in, tarps, whatever. The immediate vibe shift when Vula walks in. The immediate 180 vibe shift.
So people who have sort of been having a really great time, having fun,
Right.
connecting, and then
Right.
the remaining Vula tribe who've been at each other's throats for the last week.
They've gone through war and back. Cedric is literally like, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like. I'm going crazy. He's not
We
like
have
that,
this-
but
Right. Well, he doesn't have hair to grab onto.
right.
I feel like this happens every time where there's one tribe that's going to tribal and then the others haven't yet, and they're just having such a different experience.
Well, I'm
And,
like, that's really vulnerable. Like, that's actually like really, like, I would hate to be perceived like that. Like, walking in and everybody's like, here comes the losing tribe. I'd be like, stop. Like, I'd be like, stop looking at me. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop perceiving me. Like, can you just like let me live. Like, leave me alone. Don't look at me.
Actually,
You-
get off the beach. Just
Get
leave.
off the No, exactly. Like, can y'all just take a step back and give me a moment? Like,
Come back when there's only one of us.
right. And Cedric looks around and he's like, you guys don't know what it's like. He's like, you got like, it's a struggle to vote off people that you like day after day after day. We've done it 3 times in a row. Like, you guys haven't even been there or
There's
done
half
that.
of us left.
Right? Like, that's like a stab to the heart. Ugh. Like, I can imagine. Well, Jeff says, you know what? We're not gonna have that again. We're switching things up, girls. We're switching it up.
Yeah.
The Vula tribe is, and so now the vibe sort of switches. Vula is thrilled and
Everyone
ecstatic.
else is like,
Vula is jumping up and down. They're so excited. And Siva and Logie are like, oh. You know that audio from like iCarly or Victorious when something bad would happen? The like audience would be like, ooh.
yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
It was really, I was like, oh. And then Say is like, I want this so bad. I'm excited to see the other people on the other tribes eat each other alive. Like, I'm excited for people to like
know.
dwindle and like things to get mixed up.
I love Mary's comment and how it plays out the rest of the episode where she's like, I'm very excited, but also I just want to apologize for whoever who goes to Vula's camp.
Right. Like,
There's
I'm so excited for this
nothing.
journey for me, but to y'all, I
Good luck.
paying my respects to you guys because y'all got it rough.
Sorry about that.
Right, sorry about that. Not my fault though. They tried to vote me out. I don't give a fuck. Good luck to y'all.
Yeah.
Really great. So we have a pretty major mix up here.
Yeah.
On the new Siva tribe, we have Chrissy and Mitch, who are from the original Siva. We have Cedric and Say, who are from the original Vula, and Bianca, our sole Logi member on this tribe. And then we have the new Vula tribe, which has our California Girls Alliance, Joe, Shaheen, and Thomas, and then Kyle and Camilla are OG Siva and our under the radar duo. So we
Mm-hmm.
sort of two major alliances got put on this tribe.
Yeah.
And then we have the Logi tribe, which is David and the girls. David and the girls. We have David and Charity from the OG Sivas, Star and Eva from the original Logi,
Yes.
and Mary from the OG Vula.
Yeah.
What a crazy vibe.
Insane.
I thought, okay, so originally I saw all of these tribes and I thought the Logi tribe was going to be the hot mess tribe because I was seeing David and
Yeah.
Charity who do not like each other, Star and Eva who don't like each other, and Mary
Mary, who
who
just got back from war.
right, right. So I was like, this is the hot mess tribe. This is going to be crazy to watch.
Yeah.
All these tribes. I was excited though. I was like, this is a fun mix up.
Mm-hmm. I really like that, like, on two of the tribes, there's one odd person out who
Right,
then can, like, try and be in the middle and work
right.
with it. And then, like, the Vula tribe is just, that is an interesting group.
It's a very interesting group. Okay, so let's hop over to the new Logi tribe. Mary is excited. She's thrilled. She got back from war and she is ready for the new life that she's destined to have.
And she doesn't have any people from old Vula there.
Right. She doesn't have to carry any of that baggage. She can start anew. She can start fresh.
Yeah.
I think this was really like not to keep harping on it, but the split on these tribes is literally perfect.
Yeah.
Like Chrissy and Mitch have not worked together. Cedric and Say like are shaky. Star and Eva, David and Charity, like these are all the pairs from their OG tribes. Like it was the perfect.
It ended up crazy.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
Um,
Jeff couldn't have picked that better if he wanted to.
right. Eva is worried. Mary's hoping she can work herself in, and I think it'll work well because, Eva is worried that she's surrounded by mostly women. She's a little worried. She is not used to that. She works with a lot of boys.
She doesn't have any women friends.
Right.
These are
Very
just like
interesting.
these are interesting comments that, like, I think she might have wanted to keep those as like inside thoughts.
Right. And like I get what she's saying. Like for me, if I was put on a tribe with all men, that would be insane. Like I would be like, "Oh my god, I'm never around this many men in my life." Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like do I get what she's saying? Yes. Should she
I
have said it
don't
out loud? Maybe not.
and like in the way she said it.
Right.
And like it sort of just kept going.
It sounded like she wanted to say females instead of women, if I can be honest.
Yeah, because I think she could have said, I'm not used to having to work on a team of mostly just women because I play on men's hockey teams. Or like,
Right.
that's mostly just like the crowd I end up hanging out with due to my
Right.
sport. I wouldn't have just like kept going with it.
Right. It was interesting. She and ultimately she's worried about Star being on her tribe because Eva and Star have not been working together. Free our girl Star.
I like this pairing is funny to me, but also like no hate to Eva, but like get off Star's neck.
I'm like ultimately and I don't know if Eva it all comes down to like what she realizes, right? Like what is she able to sort of process is happening in front of her.
Yeah.
All of this starts because of what Eva said about Star. Like ultimately
In front of everyone.
in front of everybody. The shift that occurs between the two of them is because of what, and I don't think like this is no Sandra versus Russell in Heroes versus Villains. Like this isn't like a huge rivalry that's gonna be one for the ages, right? But like,
That we know of.
who knows? Um, but I'm like, Eva, you're the reason why Star is distrusting. Like, it didn't come out of nowhere. Star wasn't trusting you for no reason, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. And they're all sitting in a group. Eva and David really hit it off. They get they get together because they're talking about jet skiing. They both love jet skiing. Was that at this point in the episode?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like what
Talking
they
about jet
named
skiing, they really hit it off, and she admits that she's not happy to see Star there. And then Star just can't catch a break. David, Charity, Eva, and Mary are sitting in a group, and Eva does not hesitate a minute. She
No.
says, vote Star out. Star was at the bottom of her tribe, and she didn't even know she was at the bottom of her tribe. She was for sure the next to go. Um, we have to vote her out. Like, I will let you vote her out. I don't care, as long as you keep me. Which I don't even. Okay, so again. What I will say is I understand where Eva was going with this. It's
Yes.
just all about the approach. I was like, this just, it seems a little, desperate is a word you could
It lacks
use.
all subtlety.
Right,
Like,
and
you're not in the position where you're having to decide who to vote out. So maybe you can start sprinkling in at this point. Oh, like, I don't really connect with Star. Or like, we're really not close.
right.
So I would love to work with you guys. Not, we have to get her out. Like, time and place.
And I don't want to make generalizations about the spectrum. Obviously, it's a spectrum for a reason. People handle things different and they interact with people different. Like, it's just whatever. So I'm not going to make a huge generalization, but I do feel like the lack of subtleness probably incorporates into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is not me making an excuse for her gameplay, because I'm like,
I think there's a difference of like how you talk about her. Like,
right,
I think that it's okay to comment on her gameplay because like she is on a game and like
right,
these are the moves that she is making. Like it's part
right.
of her story.
Yeah.
And so I think it's totally fair to comment on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fair to comment on too. I just think, I don't know, like the nuance of everything is
Totally.
good to incorporate too. But I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about it, because I do think, like, again, I get where she's coming from, and I see the vision of what she's trying to accomplish, and I don't think it's necessarily bad. Like, I think being able to pull off being like, hey, like, be wary of Star. I think
Hmm.
maybe she should have planted doubt about Star to the others, and eventually it would have worked out, right? Because realistically, Star, as much as we are obsessed with Star, she is being a little shady in the way she's going about this idol hunt, about how she goes around things at camp, right?
Yeah.
So if Eva went about it in sort of in a way of planting seeds, and then others started to catch
Yes.
on, I think it would have worked much more in her favor, instead of just being like, I don't care. Because then me, if I'm Mary, David, or Charity, I'm like, I don't know if I want to work with Eva in the long run if she's willing to just throw somebody out under the bus like that
Okay,
so
and you know
blatantly.
what? It's not just an Eva thing, and I don't want to jump to it, but Queen Camilla does also sort of
Right.
do a very similar thing.
Right. Queen Camilla.
Actually, I take that back. She will never be queen.
Oh. Oh God. That is crazy work. That was crazy work. What does he say? I forget it every time. Every time I want to say, like, I jump through, like, that's not what he says.
Noon and night I get
Morning,
up.
noon, and night. I think about Camilla.
She's the one I want.
That's what it is. She's the one I want. She's my priority.
That's where
That's
my
where my
loyalties
priorities lie. That's where my loyalties lie.
That's who my priority is.
Damn. Get King Charles on the pod.
Can we have what's his name?
Is it Josh O'Connor? Josh.
Yeah,
Is it
get him on the
O'Connor?
pod. I think so.
But
I love him.
him as King Charles, or him as himself?
King. I mean,
Or I guess at the time Prince Charles. Him as Prince Charles, or him as
Yeah.
himself,
I think Prince Charles.
or him on the challenge, or him from Challengers.
Challengers.
I'd be fine
That
with
would
that
be
one
crazy
too.
mix.
That's basically it. So Star is thrown under the bus, and we hop over to the new Siva tribe.
Hmm.
So the new Siva tribe again, it's Chrissy, Mitch, Cedric, Say, Bianca. And ultimately the lines here, you'd be like, oh, Bianca. Bianca doesn't have a vote, which I did forget about. But I feel like this is the best position she could have been in with not having a vote.
Yeah.
The fact that nobody knows that,
And there's no one from her past tribe who she's gonna have to like. She might want to be in a position to like team up with them, and then it's like, oh, by the way, I was lying about this. Like, I actually don't have a vote. Like
right,
here, she's just sort of able to do her own thing, her own narrative.
right. So love that for her. And the only other person that knew she didn't have a vote is out of the game now. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert.
Yeah.
So kind of I mean, fine for her, I guess, for
Yeah.
her image. We get to the Siva tribe, and there's a lot of exciting things happening. There's new fruits. There's a clothesline. Mary is
Huh.
not Mary. Cedric and Say are GAG. They're gagged. They are like, oh my god, y'all are living in lavish luxury over here.
Luxury.
Y'all were
Yeah.
doing this. Y'all did this in the same amount of time it took us to put together our camp.
Yeah. Also,
We're on the
okay.
same beach right now.
Chrissy like comes up with this bowl basically of cassava that they can eat. I'm like, do they not all have access to this?
What's cassava?
I'm guessing some sort of like root
Starch?
vegetable.
Is it a
Because
starch?
yeah, because Bianca was like, it tastes like potato.
No.
While you look that up, but
Yeah.
like, is this just something that they discovered and the other tribes don't know that they have this, or is like this specific to their island? Because I don't think that that is necessarily fair. Or maybe like Vula was just hungry because they couldn't cook it because they didn't have flint like the whole time. I don't know.
They
but
sounded surprised that cassava was on the island. Like, Say and Cedric
yeah,
sounded like they were like, oh my god, you guys have cassava? Like, that's crazy.
exactly. So I'm like, what? That doesn't seem like fair to me. To like have one tribe who has access to this.
Access to more food options.
Yeah.
I guess cassava is grown in Fiji, but it's native to South America.
Oh, what is it?
It's a starchy root vegetable.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
We really nailed that.
we did. High in calories and carbohydrates, and contains potassium, vitamin C, and folate.
Okay, high in carbs.
Right, like that's a game changer.
Yeah.
Game
And
changer.
okay, that also plays into like challenge performance.
Right.
Like the Vula has been hungry for over
Like
a
they
month
haven't
now.
literally had no food for 7 days.
Yeah, and you guys have this like that. Jeff Probst, I have some questions for you.
Yeah, let's talk. We'll talk about it at the end of the episode. I have some questions for Survivor production. We have a vote to talk about. Chrissy feels first of all, Chrissy's getting confessionals, confessional queen. Finally getting it popping out. She's explaining that she feels iffy about Mitch being there. She wants to move forward Siva strong, but she just has no working connection with Mitch at all. So it leaves it sort of up in the air. I didn't even realize I had this note coming up. I said, why did this tribe spot feel so different? Why does this camp's location feel so different than the Vula tribe? Like, it feels like they're being set up.
It feels like bright and like
Right.
happy. I don't know.
I'm sure like lighting and editing has something to do with that, because I'm sure that, because if you contrast this scene to the next scene, like I'm sure things were edited to be seen certain ways, because like you go from the fun, bright
clean.
Siva,
It feels clean.
right, to the Vula tribe. So I do think it was like editing magic a little bit, but yeah. Say talks about how she feels iffy about being stuck with Cedric. Obviously, we saw at the beginning of the episode, like she's still feeling iffy about working with Cedric, to the point where Bianca comes up to Say, and Bianca's like, I really want to work with you and Cedric. Like, I feel like I would go with y'all. And Say says, I would figure out his vibe before you make that claim. which I think
I
is such a funny thing to say to somebody.
She could not have said that any better.
She said,
That's so
she said,
funny.
maybe get a vibe check first and then
Yeah.
come back to me. I don't know if that's really if I don't know if that's the point that you want to follow. I don't
Yeah.
know if you want to put your eggs in that basket.
And I love the way she puts it of like, I don't know if you want to work with him specifically, but she's not immediately being like, I'm throwing him under the bus, work with me, let's get him
Right.
out. She's just like, you might want to,
You
do some
make your
digging on your
decision
own.
first and then come back to me and we'll go from there.
And I really liked that.
Yeah, I thought it was I think it was a interesting, and I think it's something interesting. Like, I don't think a lot of people approach it this way because obviously, like, if you're say I would argue most Survivor players would be like, I don't care about my prior relationship with Cedric. It's about numbers for me at this point, and we
Yeah.
need the numbers. So I feel like most people would be like, sure, you can work with us. But Say is playing for the long game. She's like, I don't necessarily know if I want Cedric in the long game. I would do, Bianca, I may want to work with you, but I don't know if we should base our relationship off of trusting Cedric. Like, that
Yeah.
is not something that's worked for me in the past.
And you know what? For someone who has sort of not been subtle or like, I don't know, chill this whole time, it was kind of nice to see this from her.
It was. I'm ready for Say 2.0. We're in
New
for a new
energy.
new energy. She's on a tribe. She's at a camp with fruit, and I'm ready for. Well, did you see the next episode clip?
Yeah.
I am Say 1.0 might make an appearance next episode. Everybody, we'll just have to wait and see what that ends up looking like. But really interesting vibes going on this group.
Hmm.
Let's pander over to the new Vulu tribe. You want to talk about 180 shifts? You want to talk about total tonal differences?
They walk up and say, "This is it."
They said this is the camp they've been living. No wonder why they've lost 3 challenges in a row. No bed. They're sleeping on bamboo on the ground. No
No,
cover. It's
there's no
bare.
fire. They have no.
There's no fire. It's
I was thinking about? They were the tribe that was having a fly problem in the beginning
yeah.
too. Like it is
And I
just
think they showed
dirty.
like the fly. Like, it's
Yeah.
gross. And I wrote that this is probably out of all 3 of the tribes, I think this tribe on paper
Mhm.
looks the best with the people who were put into the group.
Yeah.
This group getting put into the worst camp is so humbling. It's truly like, figure your shit out. Like, you it's not gonna work. Like,
You're starting
y'all
from rock.
rock bottom. 5 people who on their original tribes were probably positioned the best.
Yeah.
Like, I would argue
Yeah, that's
Camilla
true.
and Thomas on their original tribes were probably the best positioned, right?
Yeah.
Getting truly humbled, getting truly brought back down and the Survivor gods are saying, don't forget where you come from. Don't forget what this game is
Stay
about.
humble.
Surviving.
Yeah.
Surviving at the core of it all.
No more
Y'all thought
luxury.
Right. Y'all thought that you were in the new era? No, baby. We're going back. We're going back. Y'all are starting from nothing. Really fun, really fun. They everybody's gagged. GAG gagged at this camp the way it looks. They are not thrilled.
They cannot get over it. And
Right.
frankly, I understand after seeing, what they were coming from.
Right. Thomas says something really funny. Thomas says, it looks like the ghost of Christmas past is going to haunt me at this camp." He says this is
It's spooky.
he said this is a place of nightmares. like this is devastating. Like, I can't imagine anybody living here. It's insane. There's not much else sort of going on. Well, I'll get to it in a second. Before the scene takes place where Camilla puts in the work, I said that I was really interested in the tribe dynamic on this tribe. I think there's a lot of unknown advantages at play, and there's a lot of strong power players on this tribe, right? You have
Strong
Thomas's
alliances.
right. You have Thomas's steal a vote. You have Camilla's extra vote, Kyle's idol.
Yeah.
2 strong alliances, like day 1 alliances on this tribe, right? It's really, really interesting stuff. And then let's get a masterclass in acting, shall we?
I mean, yeah.
Camilla sits down and they're all sort of talking, getting to know each other, and she already starts playing up that she was on the bottom of her tribe.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I'm glad that we swapped. I'm
I was
not
gonna
that
go
strong
home
in
first.
challenges. I was probably going to go home first. And Kyle, my winner pick, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Kyle picks it up instantly. They don't even need to talk about it.
No, they're on the same
They
wavelength.
are on the same wave. Like, he instantly knows what's going on, and he plays into it. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you would have gone home, but like, there's a lot of variables, blah 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 blah. And is basically playing up the fact that Camilla was on the bottom, that she was probably going to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Camilla talks about how they haven't been working together at all, so it sucks that they not suck. She doesn't say that, but she's like, it's unfortunate that they're swapped together because there's
They don't
no
even
sort of
know each
prior,
other.
right? There's no working relationship there,
Mm-mm.
and they're buying it. Shaheen is buying it right away.
I mean, we even have comments from them throughout the episode from the
Right.
California girls of like there's no way they're acting, and if they are acting, like they should win an Oscar for this performance.
Like, they were performing it down. They had them
Yeah.
eating out the palm of their hands.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, like, it's setting up that Camilla and Kyle would go against each other, but Camilla is trying to throw out other options before having to go there. She throws Thomas under the bus,
Yeah.
which is so interesting.
So bold.
So bold. She's talking to people she doesn't know he's in an alliance, a very tight alliance with. But it's interesting, sort of. Let me finish this and then I'll go to the other thought.
Hmm.
Camilla throws Thomas under the bus because she got information from Star from the challenge prior that they both set out on. And Star had asked about
Journey.
the journey, and um Star gave conflicting information about Thomas's journey to Camilla, and Camilla compared the notes, realized that Thomas was lying. Thomas said that he walked away from the puzzle, and Camilla knows that you can't walk away from the journeys. Like, you have to
Hmm.
play them. So she knows that he's lying. She says that to Shaheen and Joe, and they're like, "Ooh, what's this all about?" And then Camilla walks away. Thomas walks in. Shaheen asks Thomas, and Thomas doubles down. He's like, well, obviously Camilla is just throwing things out because she's trying to save herself. Like, that makes no sense. Like, she wasn't there, so how would she know?
Yeah.
And that's sort of it. Thomas doubles down, and that starts Thomas wanting to be like, I don't trust Camilla. Like, she has to go. She's very clearly playing the game
Yeah. Hard.
hard. I think it's interesting, to go to the thought that I had prior a minute ago, that we were sort of getting a small storyline set up last episode, or episode 2 maybe, where Shaheen specifically was like, I gotta keep my eye on Thomas. Like, who knows what he could be plotting. This specifically in regards to Star's advantage and Thomas's idea of just throwing the paper away and like going from there. I think
Yeah.
it's interesting that didn't really go anywhere, because obviously we see this episode, and it was a blindside, so there wasn't much planning that could have happened on Shaheen's end. But um, like, he never turns his back on Thomas. Like, he very clearly trusts Thomas 100% of the way.
Yeah.
Maybe not 100%, but like 80, 75.
Enough to like not really question him.
Right. So it's interesting dynamics happening on this tribe. We got to commercial. It's just a lot of just new people on new tribes getting to know each other. We're
Hmm.
back with the new Siva tribe, and Cedric immediately wants to work with Mitch because Cedric, when he was younger, also had a stutter.
Hmm.
The Stutter Boys.
Yeah.
They have a bond over that,
Yeah.
which is cute, I guess. Good for them. There's something to connect about.
Yeah.
Say's talking to Bianca and spills that the boys were working together, and or maybe she. Oh yeah, is she talking to Bianca about this, and that she wants to build strong working relationships with strong women like Bianca.
Hmm.
She wants to put those relationships forward, which I think is great. You could have started maybe with the strong women that were already on your tribe.
Instead of, just forming your alliance with the boys that you had to completely boss around.
Right.
I do think, yeah, that strong personality you were looking for was right there in Mary,
Right.
but for some reason she's not trustworthy.
I think it's just different because, like, like the people in this new tribe are starting off like they're going to be playing the game immediately, like say
Mhm.
once, because it's a swap, right? Like the game has already been going on, so people's reflectors are on, like they're on edge. They're going to be playing the game a little bit more than like compared to a marooning.
And I think the difference is Say's now had the experience of the last few days of like
Right.
going from thinking that Mary was not playing to the level that she wanted to like Mary being a very obvious like big competitor.
Right.
And so then she was maybe like, I shouldn't judge people the way I did to Mary
Right.
necessarily. Like imagine the power if Mary and Say were running things together.
I think Mary really blindsiding them last episode with that acting performance and what is it called? Safety, not safety with the power. Shot in the dark play that
Mhm.
really opened up Say's eyes to what could be possible, what people
Yeah.
could be doing. So
Yeah.
really interesting.
Learning, growing.
Exactly, new opportunities, new roles.
Yeah.
Um, it seems like what I'm noticing, and I think is the narrative is that Say and Cedric are splitting. I think Say and Bianca are going to be working together, and Cedric is going to be working with Chrissy and Mitch. I think
Hmm.
that's where the split is going to be on this tribe, because it doesn't seem like Cedric seemingly doesn't want would prefer to work with Mitch, and Say would prefer to work with Bianca.
I need Say and Bianca to pull Chrissy in.
Right. And
Because
it's hard to say all of this with like remembering that Bianca doesn't have a vote. Like all of this stuff is happening. I
yeah.
remember what happened last time when Say and Cedric weren't let in on the fact that somebody didn't have a vote.
Yeah.
Girl, that was game ending.
They're like, Say
They're gonna get
doesn't even notice it. She's
PTSD.
like, not again.
No, literally, they're gonna be at tribal. They're gonna realize that a vote is gone, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be a tie vote or something. And
Yeah.
Cedric and Say are gonna be like, "Oh my god, oh my god."
Cedric, imagine Cedric has to decide again. He's like,
Cedric,
guys, take me home. I can't do
Cedric's gonna be like,
this
"I can't do it. I can't. Y'all can vote me out. Vote me out. Vote me out. I don't care. I don't care." No, PTSD for sure. That has to be like imagine that would have to be so traumatizing if that happened again.
again.
Chrissy is worried about what Bianca potentially has, knowing that she went on a journey.
Yeah. Hmm.
And Chrissy is scared of the OG Logi tribe. And she's like, if we were to go to tribal, I would sway towards voting off Bianca because who knows what she has and who knows what her dynamics are like on her original tribe.
Yeah.
So it's just out there. I don't know. Chrissy got a lot of more confessionals than she has in the past like 2 episodes combined. So I was like, good for her. Good for her. Good for
Yeah.
her. I don't know if you've seen, she's on Twitter talking about, she's like, where am I on the edit?
Oh,
She's like
really?
tweeting. Yeah. She's like, why am I not on the episodes?
Babe, because your tribe has been winning.
Right.
So
Right.
we sort of have to
And
focus most of the time on, the tribe who's actually going to tribal council.
right. The new Logi tribe before our challenge. Just a little bit. David likes being with the girls.
He's got 3 sisters.
Okay, fruit basket. I wrote sort of a different word that started with F, but decided that I can't say that out loud. So,
Yeah.
Fruity Tooty, David is.
Do you
He,
think?
no. Well, no, I don't.
We can't get into TikTok drama again. That one person's gonna
Stop.
comment.
Stop. Um, Charity. Okay, I love this confessional from Charity. David and Charity are talking, and David is like, or no, it's sorry. Charity is like, oh my god, David. She's just playing up this idea that David and her have worked together because she wants to seem like a strong front moving forward.
Mhm.
And she's like, David and I love each other. Like we're excited to move forward at this game. They're talking to Mary and they're talking to Eva, and they're like, we're ready to like work. It'll be good to work together. Cut to
Yeah.
Charity being hater of the year.
I know.
Oh, I was like, I need to queen out with her. I need more confessionals from her because this is too funny. Cut to her immediately being like, I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way that you talk. I hate the way that you. Like, she fully was just like, I don't like him.
Yeah.
Him and his fucking chocolate milk. I don't give a fuck about your chocolate milk, David.
I know. We've been robbed of
Queen Charity.
Queen Charity time.
Right. I need her and her funky ass toes to be I need to get more time with them.
Yeah. With the toes.
Maybe less toes, more her talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. The toes don't have to really be involved. Charity feels about David being on the tribe. She ultimately wants him as a shield. David also similarly does not fuck with Charity. He's like Charity. What I wrote is that Charity is to him like Star is to Eva.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, I need to get her out from day one. I don't like the way that she's moving. I don't like XYZ. It's just not working.
She's playing.
Right. Like she's playing too hard too soon. Y'all lucky you're not on a tribe with Say, because Say would have eliminated y'all with her brain. She would have been like and got rid of you.
Yeah.
I feel like if it comes down to a Charity and Star versus David and Eva, that Mary would probably side with Charity and Star over David and Eva. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like how those dynamics are forming?
Totally, yes.
Right. So I'd be interested to see how this ends up working out. But we don't get to see much more from them this episode because we have a challenge to talk about.
Yeah.
It's a pretty simple challenge up until the end. Vula's coming in hot. They are ready to reverse the curse. They are wanting to reverse the Vula badness that has been happening.
Bad energy.
They're yelling in. Shaheen says, "Let's go, boys," and then goes, "Let's go, Camilla." Camilla. They're ready for a win. They're ready to rock out. Challenge is pretty simple. Race.
Period.
They have to remain. Oh my god, Lord! They have to race to remove sandbags from a little cube buried in the sand, and then they roll the cube under a thingy, and there's some sandbags hanging up there. They have to stand in the cube, get the sandbags, throw the sandbags through a little hoop that can break.
Mm-hmm.
I was writing down the instructions of this challenge, and I was like, "This is bunk as fuck." Like, this is truly, I'm like, what is this? You have to get on the thing to grab the thing and throw it through something that breaks. And if it breaks, you have to put it back together. And I'm like,
and then you have to put together
and then you have to dig just for one puzzle piece, not for all, just for one puzzle piece. So you dig for one puzzle piece, pick it up, go to the end, and then you have to build the puzzle. It's a pyramid puzzle. I don't think they've done this puzzle too many times.
No, I don't think so.
It's a pyramid puzzle. 3 people play, 2 people stand on the sidelines. That's sort of the vibe. It's it's also a reward challenge. They're obviously playing for immunity in Flint. Oh, I wrote also playing for reward of fruit. I'm sure David and or Thomas would love that.
Oh my god. Okay, I was thinking like, okay, first of all, that's funny. 2,
Thank you.
like, I'm sure they love fruit, but like, can we include something a little bit more filling in there?
Like, give me like a piece of chicken.
Right, like, why don't we do like a charcuterie board situation?
Right.
Like, we can include the fruit.
Right.
But like, maybe let's add some like
a
meats
cracker,
or cheeses or carbs.
Right.
Yes.
Something more well-rounded.
Yeah, like not just this big thing of fruit, which like is fine, but I mean, I feel like I get a stomachache when I eat too much fruit.
I don't. I fuck with fruit down.
Fruit is my favorite food group for sure.
It's a challenge. The Vula think that they have it. Everybody gets to the puzzle pretty much at the same. I mean, not at the same. But one of the orange tribe, the Siva tribe, is slow to get there. One of them, Logie was slow to get there, but they're ultimately at the puzzle at the same point. Vula thinks they have it early on, and they don't. Logie is consistent pretty much, and they finish first.
Can I say something really quick?
Of
I
course.
noticed that this challenge, but like in every single challenge that there's been a throwing thing, Mitch is so good at it.
Crazy. Yeah, I didn't write that, but I was thinking about that too.
Every single time he ends
Yeah.
up like totally doing it. So shout out Mitch. That's
Yeah.
a good skill to have on Survivor, to be good at throwing things like accurately.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Um, yes, Logie is consistent and they finish first. Siva is slow and steady, and they get it too.
Mhm.
And Vula is going to another tribe. I said, why am I getting emotional for Mary, Cedric, and Say? Like, I'm so
Oh,
happy that they don't have to go back to tribal.
I'm so happy for them. I just think
I like
it's
got
so.
emotional for Say. Like, Say they win and Say jumps up and down. She jumps off the puzzle and she's like so excited that she doesn't have to go back.
I also think it's so fun that the new Vula tribe is going
Hmm.
back to tribal, but none
Yeah,
of the original people are on it. Like,
love that. It's just
that's
a
so
cursed tribe.
funny. It
It's a cursed
is.
tribe. It's a cursed campsite. It's a cursed everything. It's cursed.
Yeah.
I was excited. I wrote brand new tribe with crazy dynamics, and it's their first time all actually voting, which is really excited.
Yeah.
And we don't have a journey this episode.
Thank God.
No journey. I know, because imagine, like, I don't think we would have gotten this exciting of a post
We would have lost the
pre-tribal.
momentum.
Right. So jump into it. We have a little bit. There's a lot of dynamics going on here. So we go. We're back from the challenge, and Vula. Like, it's very clear nobody on this tribe has gone to tribal before because none of them know what to do. They're all like, well, how do we want to like do it? Do we want to just rip the band-aid off? And one of them was like, let's just do a one-on-one situation where everybody gets a chance to talk with everybody and just let
Hmm.
it like work out how it needs to work out. It just felt very, they were like, I mean,
Hey.
yeah, literally, they were like, hey, we have to vote somebody out. Do you want to talk about it? Or,
Should we
because
talk
it's,
about it, or should we just go to tribal? Like,
right, it's interesting because nobody, has a, nobody on, there's very clearly game being played up until this point for all five of them because
hmm
all five are in a very strong alliance, right? Like they have been playing the game, but they haven't been confronted with having to vote. So it's a whole. It's like, okay, well, now that we actually have to like put everything to the test, like what's the
And I like I don't mean to jump ahead at all, but I wish that in this time there could have been more like shifting between alliances. Like I'm really bummed that we don't get to see a Thomas, Camilla, and Kyle situation. I
right?
feel like
Like
they would have been so fun together and
right,
so cutthroat.
right.
Like imagine them like post merge together.
Like one of them being able to flip. It's not like
Yeah.
it could have been fun.
Like
Spoiler
imagine
alert.
Thomas like flips on his alliance. Like I don't know why he would do that, but like that would be so iconic.
We'll talk about the gaping hole of Thomas in my heart at the after this.
Okay.
The California girls, everybody's doing one-on-ones, they're talking. Camilla is really playing up the fact that she was at the bottom and she feels bad for messing up the puzzle, but like like it won't happen again. She's willing to vote out Kyle. Like she just wants to do what she needs to do to survive. Kyle's similar, like playing up his side of the story where he's just like, we were gonna vote her out. Like she can go. I don't mind voting her. She was at the bottom of her tribe. Like they're playing their roles very well.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of like they all buy into it. But they're trying to figure out like the California girls now, obviously, on paper, they have the power. So the three of them are trying to figure out where they need to put their votes. So after these one on ones, they're talking, the three of them, and Shaheen is like, okay, on the count of three, say who you want to vote out. One, two, three. Joe and Shaheen say Kyle, and Thomas says Camilla. For
Yeah.
obvious reasons. Camilla was throwing Thomas's name out, so that makes sense. Joe said that he doesn't necessarily want to keep all the jocks around. Like they need a well-structured tribe that is good at many different things if they want to perform
Yeah.
well in challenges. And I think Shaheen just felt sort of emotionally attached to well, he says something on the lines of that Kyle was sort of stonewalled them. Like like Shaheen tried to talk to him and he just didn't get as much out of Kyle as he got out of Camilla. Camilla.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it ends up leaning on voting Kyle out. And so it's like, what is going to happen, where the vote's going to go. We then pan off to Camilla and Kyle, and they get the chance to talk. And they are like, we need to, like, just
We gotta put these pieces together.
right. They were like, we need to be so confident in what we're able to do tonight. Like, we need to be on the right side because it could mess up so bad if they split the vote, if we use an extra. And then I was thinking, I'm like, oh, what if they play their extra vote, right? And the three of, like, it could, like, because realistically, if I just think I think the California girls were not, I don't want to jump ahead. I'm trying not to, like,
They were thinking of it very, like, straightforward.
linearly. Like, it was very much, we have the three votes, we
It's
can vote
one of
somebody
them.
out. Which I think that is the problem with not having attended tribal before. Like, they're not thinking about all these variables, right?
And they haven't been on a beach with Kyle or Camilla, so, like, they
Right.
have no way of knowing that he would have an idol.
Right. Um and they have no way of knowing the extent of their real relationship or how hard these people have been playing the
'Cause
game.
I bet they probably thought, like, oh, well, Camilla very obviously isn't working with him, like, if she knew that he had an idol. And maybe she even said, like, I don't think he has anything. I mean,
Right.
and they even checked his bag, which I don't know if we'll talk about. But,
No,
like,
we'll talk about.
I think that they just, I mean, that was good enough for them to not feel like they needed to cover their bases.
Right. It was just interesting. I just don't think the California girls were on. Like, they didn't. There was no question about the shot in the dark.
They would love to boss those boys around.
I think she would be obsessed with that.
And
There was
hate
no
it at the same time.
right. I think the best move would have been to do well. I think that what would have been most exciting, because I think logically they should have split the vote. I think that makes the most sense of doing like a 2-2-1, and then on the revote just voting out
Yeah.
who Kyle or Camilla on the revote.
Or Thomas playing steal a vote. I bet he just thought,
Right.
like, this was too straightforward. You don't need to use it this time.
And again, I would say this every season. Obviously, I'm getting a bird's eye view, and so I see the whole picture. And so it's hard for me to be like, well, I would have thought, like, obviously, I don't know if I would have because I have all the information at my disposal. But I feel like I would have been if I was Thomas or Shaheen or Joe, I would have been like, okay, odds are one of them might play a shot in the dark. If they think we're all voting for Kyle because we like Kyle's just not vibing with us, we should split the vote. Thomas, you vote for Camilla, and then on a revote, all three of us vote on Kyle. Then, or you can even well, they don't know that Thomas has to steal a vote. That's the whole thing. Is Thomas didn't want to say he had to steal a vote, so it's just all these things. But I'm like,
But, like, he could have used that.
right? Like he could have used it without
independently.
them knowing, and then like I don't think the fallout would have been huge. I don't know. It's all these what ifs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Joe might be the person. Joe, very similar to a Mike. I feel like, I'm sorry, I just feel like they're playing similar games. Like Mike
Yeah.
got really butthurt when he was lied about. Like people lied to him.
Yeah.
So I could see Joe being the type of person where if he's not let in on something, he'd be frustrated and he'd be like, I just feel like I can't trust you moving forward. So who knows? But that's it. Camilla's acting is great. We do get a moment where Camilla, Thomas, and Shaheen are sitting together, and Camilla's like, I hope, like, I'm voting Kyle. I hope I'm good. And Shaheen's like, you don't have anything to worry about. You'll be fine. Basically, he's like confirming Kyle's gonna go. And then Thomas is like, do we want to check his bag? Make sure he doesn't have anything. And I was like, ooh. I was sweating. I was like covering my ears. I was like, la 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 la. I was like, I can't watch. Boys are good for nothing.
I mean, yeah, first of all, yes. Second of all, these idols are so tiny.
Why
And,
why didn't you check his shoe?
right, like, that feels so obvious where I would put it.
Right. I was like, this is super, super interesting.
Camilla was also not really hiding her facial expression.
No,
She's
Camilla
just
sitting there like, No, that's crazy that they didn't find anything.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm sure she was just like, "Oh my god!"
I
She
know,
was. She's like, "How did they not
literally
find it?"
that scene where it's the two of them right before they leave, and Camilla's like, "They looked through your bag. They looked through your bag." And Kyle was like, "They looked through my bag," and she was like, "Yes, they looked through your bag." And he was like, "Did they find anything?" And she was like, "No." And he was like, "How did they not find it?" And she was like, "I don't know. I don't know."
I
I
want.
thought.
I
Sorry, you
want to
go.
play with Camilla.
Okay, well, okay. After the vote, I want to talk about Camilla, but I
Okay.
um think that what was I gonna say?
I
I lost my train of
think.
thought. I think it was just interesting. I was excited going into this tribal. I thought it was gonna be juicy, juicy, juicy.
Hmm.
The tribal itself was pretty fine. It was chill. I think Kyle and Camilla were playing it off very nicely.
They were selling this,
They were
like
selling it down.
them
I
not
think at
being.
first Kyle had an answer to a question where I think he kind of revealed he was like, "We're both Guyanese, like we
Oh yeah.
have like that connection." I was like, "Ooh, I feel like you're going a little bit off course here." But then Camilla really wrapped it back around and was like, "I'm at the bottom." She was
And
like,
I will be voting for Kyle tonight.
Right. I really loved their moments of vulnerability, specifically from Camilla, where she was like, what have these 9 days brought to you?"
Yeah.
I really liked that. It was really I got emotional. I was like, wow, this is really exciting. And then Thomas answers the same question. I was like, this it's just fun. It's just a fun answer, a fun question to ask Jeff. It was a good probe on what's going on.
Hmm.
Everybody votes. Jeff asks if there's anything to play. Kyle stands up, plays his
Yes.
idol. This is 3 tribals in a row an idol has been played. 2 back to back. Well, I guess technically a shot in the dark was played last episode, but
But
works the
still,
same
like
mechanic.
someone being completely safe.
Right. Say played her idol, Marianne played her shot in the dark successfully, and then Kyle played his idol.
Yeah.
3 in a row, 2 in a row, successful, like saved the person votes.
Yeah. Not going home with an idol in your pocket.
Right.
And I love that
Super.
he's like, I have seen season 36. Like,
Right.
I know to play my idol
Right.
when I feel in danger.
So super fun. It was really good, really good, really good. Kyle and Camilla trust their gut perfectly.
You know, we need like a soundboard.
We
So when you
do.
say something, I can just like press a button and it says.
Right. Right. It just does it.
I love that like you do it on your own, like a manual. You're like a manual.
A manual Camilla, a manual
Yeah.
override. They perfectly their guts. They listened to their guts and trusted it, and it was right. The
Yes.
Kelly girls are gobsmacked. I think probably the best moment from this episode. An episode full of great, amazing moments.
Yeah.
One of the best moments of the episode, and I would argue of the season so far, is the
Yeah.
3 seconds after Jeff reads the third Kyle vote, and it's the waiting to see who who they went for, who Camilla and Kyle went for. Who was it going to
Yeah.
be? They all 3 of them look at each other. Joe, Shaheen, and Thomas. They look at each other. They grab each other's hands. Like they know it's over
Bro
for one of
moment.
them. It's a bro moment, a bromance. I was like, oh my god, like who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
Yeah.
It was very because it was obviously we left knowing it was gonna be between Shaheen and Thomas.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, and then it's Thomas. The first vote comes out for Thomas. They are gobsmacked.
Oh,
They he puts his head down as
he's
after
like,
Jeff
oh
reads
my
it.
god,
He just
Jeff.
knows. Like I imagine it felt like he was shot. Is that a crazy thing to say? Like I imagine it felt like a punch to the gut.
Yeah, like the wind knocked out of you.
Yes, that's like perfect. Maybe not shot. Like the wind got knocked out of you. Like I bet you he felt sick after that. Like he was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
I
Oh
like I can't imagine what that feeling was like.
no.
Um,
It just did
Joe
not see it coming at
at all.
all.
Like they played it
They
perfectly.
were so confident.
It was good. It was juicy.
Yeah.
Thomas goes home. The California girls are gobsmacked. It's a 3-2 vote. Well, 3-2, 3 of the votes canceled out, obviously. It's a 2-0 vote. Um, Thomas gets up and everybody's looking at him stunned and he's looking back at them and he says, "Do I get a hug?" He said, "Where my hug at? Where my hug at?"
I'm
um,
so sad he's
I'm
gone.
sad he's gone too. Just to wrap this up, and then we can go into like the afterthoughts. Everybody gets a hug. The boys are broken up. Joe and Shaheen are gagged, and Thomas looks Jeff straight in the eye and says, "I am so thankful."
I loved that.
And he was his goodbye message at the end was very like, "I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I got to do things I never thought I was going to be able to do in my life."
Yeah.
Just full of gratitude, full of
I
gratitude.
I love it. I love it too, coming from someone who was so like, I mean, honestly, cutthroat and
Right,
like willing to be dirty. Like
right,
he is. I feel like that just shows he understands. Like, okay, yeah, this is a game, and like I'm just glad I got to play. And like
right.
I don't know, I just love the attitude.
My last thoughts that I wrote here, I said, "I'm so sad to see Thomas go, especially like this. I think this was definitely the right move for Camilla and Kyle,
Yeah.
because Thomas held literally all of the cards. He knew everything on that OG tribe, so it was perfect.
Hmm.
I don't think Camilla and Kyle are going to understand how well, like, that was the right choice.
Yeah.
It was pretty perfect. I also wrote, like, I don't know if I don't have this thought often, but I'm like, how does Jeff never just like gag? Like, how
I
does he never
know
just
his
like
poker
something happens
face.
right in front of him? Like, if I was Jeff, I'd be like, "Oh," I'd be like, "Girl, you are not about to believe what I'm about to read. Y'all are about to gag."
Okay, not to bring up the traders again, but did you see Alan? I think he was doing an interview on Jimmy
Jimmy
Fallon's
Fallon, yeah, I
show.
think I saw.
Yes, and he's like, yeah, I feel like I normally have a pretty good poker face, but when Boston Rob was pulling all his Boston Robness, and they were obviously not voting him out, even though he was very clearly a traitor, he's like, I thought I was making like a mysterious, like intrigued face, but instead I was
Yeah,
like rolling my eyes, and the little piece in his ear was people being like, Alan, your face, Alan, your face, and like I think I would also struggle with
that
that.
would be me. That would be me. I think as somebody who's hosted IRL survivors, I think part of the fun of being the host is that you know what's coming and you know everybody's about to gag. Like you know
Yeah.
the reaction that they're about to give. So something is so fun about having a poker face, knowing that you're about to set it up in a way that is about to be the most drama.
I
Anyway,
mean, I will say this in every chance I get. I think Jeff Probst has Jeff and Phil on The Amazing Race. I think they have the best jobs in the world.
yeah, pretty iconic, pretty
Even
iconic.
Alan,
Yeah,
being a fun reality TV show host, that's
right.
my dream job.
Yeah. Um, so sad to see Thomas going. I was really looking forward to seeing what he had to offer on this season. I think Survivor, I saw a tweet that was like, "I hope Survivor sees this and stops producing like messy, shitty advantages and twists." Like
Yeah.
Thomas was set up to be one of the best confessionalists of the new era. He was set up to be a very cutthroat, villainous player that wasn't going to care about his like he was setting himself up to be the villain of the season, right?
Yeah.
And they just lost it like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
And
The
like,
fourth person voted out.
oh, it is such a bummer. But I also love to see just like a classic Survivor blindside with
Yeah.
an idol.
Right.
Like that
Yes.
feels so good.
Feels so classic. You're right. It feels very classic Survivor. And Survivor 50 is casting, obviously, and in usually all-star seasons on Survivor have a very heavy recency bias. So
Hmm.
who knows? There might be some room for pre-mergers from 48 and 49.
Yeah.
I feel like Thomas would be a great all-stars person to have on there. A great pre-merge representative.
You know, it'd be crazy if Survivor season 50 was mimicking a little bit the Hunger Games 50th games,
Mm,
and they had like double the amount of people.
that would be stunning.
Because then I feel like Thomas would definitely be on.
Right. Um just to talk about Camilla real quick.
Yeah.
I and I think we're watching a Survivor star in the making.
I'm really bummed that I didn't pick her as my winner pick because she was
Both of our
our
like other
option.
options. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was my I felt I hate to say this, I felt, and I still kind of feel the way that the odds of another woman winning 4 in a row, I just, to me, doesn't seem very high. But she would have been my pick. Her and Kyle
Yeah.
were my one and two.
I think what can get Camilla in the long run is that, like, obviously, you're right. I think she is incredible and, like, has the potential to be a legend. I
Hmm.
think maybe, like, where I'm nervous for her is her similar to Eva lack of subtlety and, like,
Right.
how she's delivering information. And I think, like, it does come off as a little bit off-putting at times where
Hmm.
I'm like, I think I maybe would be approaching this a little bit different. And so that's what scares me.
I think I don't know if you remember his game very well, but very similar to Omar from Survivor 42. Oh wait, we watched that season to
Yes.
go. That's
Yes.
the vibe that I'm getting from her. That she's gonna have
Ostrich
a
shirt.
ostrich shirt. She's gonna have a very, very strong showing, and middle merge, she's just gonna get sniped because people.
Yeah.
It's just so visual. I mean, she did a very good job hiding it, but I'm like, I don't know how she hides it after that. Like, I'm sure Joe and Shaheen are gonna go to everybody and be like, Camilla and Kyle are insane.
Yes, first of all. But I also wonder if maybe this plays into why they were able to keep their relationship so on the DL because they're
Right.
like she offers up so much information and it feels like
Right.
she has no filter. So like
Right.
how would she be filtering this? I think that was a like very smart strategic play, but I just I want her in. I want her to win.
I want her to win too. And it might seem crazy to say, I feel like we are going to see Camilla multiple times in this new Survivor
She's
era.
young. She's got time.
She's got time. I could see her coming back 3 times. Like I could see her coming back on multiple seasons of Survivor. We haven't even made the merge yet. If she doesn't win, I know she'll be on 50. This is similarly how I felt with Rachel. I think
Yeah.
Rachel also gives like somebody who's going to have longevity in Survivor. I think we've had a couple. I think, um, I don't know. I can't, like Jesse and Cody maybe from Survivor 43. I feel like they were set up to have longevity in Survivor. Carolyn, somebody who probably will have longevity in this new era. There's just a lot there, and I feel like Camilla, I think we're seeing the start, we are witnessing live the making of a new Survivor legend.
This is us putting all of our chips on Camilla for the long
Right.
run, and then hopefully we'll be able to look back at this and be like, "Oh my God, we called it."
Literally. When she's the first 3-time winner of Survivor, then what?
Yes, yes.
Sorry, this is long-winded. I just wanted to talk real quick. The voting came back this episode.
I actually have it pulled up on my phone so we can go over it.
I screenshotted it. I did vote last night, but
Yeah.
just a quick talk about, we went, something I had not thought about for the last 2 episodes was the fact that I thought it was promised every episode we were going to get something, but apparently that was not the case. We're getting them every couple episodes, but we got our next round of voting, our 2 of 4, I believe.
Yes, and I was
Um,
thinking I can put a link to this in our description. So if
yeah,
our
if
viewers
right,
did not get a chance to vote when they were watching the episode,
you do have to
click on
vote
the
within the
link.
week, so vote before next one's before episode 5 premieres. But
Yeah.
let's just go over we voted for 3 things last episode,
And
or I
I will
guess.
still put a picture on the screen.
Perfect. I also took screenshots if for some reason I have them. The first one, we are voting on our Final Four challenge. It says, time to put on your challenge producer hat. Which of these iconic challenges would you like to see on the Final Four? The first one is sort of, it looks like the one they did last season, maybe the season before. It's like it
That's
looks like
Ben in the
Plinko.
picture.
So what is that? That's 46.
Yeah.
It looks like Plinko is what it looks like. I feel like they've only done that
That was
once.
a
I don't.
fun one.
It was a fun one.
Very tense.
Yes. Option B is one of those really big, grandiose, like final immunity challenges.
Hmm.
And option C is Samotion.
I love that we even know the name of that one.
Well, I know you hate her, but thanks to Marianne,
Right. So I have to know which one you voted for.
I voted for C.
Me too. I I mean, I think we talked this was one of your like 5 most iconic or like most dramatic things.
Right.
Romeo winning this. I relive that moment in my head as like that is one of those jump off the couch like
We
slam.
literally all four. It was you, me, Anna, and Rowan were watching. We all four screamed. We were so like we were.
Yeah.
It was insane.
That's one of my personal favorite moments watching Survivor ever. I would love to see this make a comeback.
I just feel I love the idea of a big, grandiose final immunity challenge, but something to me about a simple endurance, who can last the longest, who can
The
keep their mind
mind.
in it the longest, is
Yes.
so satisfying to me.
So good.
So that's
It's
why I
just
voted for
fun to
C.
watch
It is fun to
too.
watch, and it's
It's
you get
tense.
adrenaline. Yes, it's tense. You're watching the whole time. You're like, oh my god, is she gonna do it? Is it gonna drop? It's gonna drop.
Yes, because
It's
it's not
crazy.
like a progression thing that you're watching like someone like you're not watching someone lose. It's just like they just drop out. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so
Right.
good.
Next titled "To Switch or Not to Switch." Um, it says, "I want the tribes to switch. I want to force new alliances and test old ones, challenging players to prove they can survive in any scenario. Or, I do not want the tribes to switch. I want alliances to grow naturally without disruption. Strong bonds should be built and rewarded, not broken."
I voted first yes to switch.
I voted yes to switch too. I love a tribe. I'm sorry, I hate seeing one of my faves get like swap screwed, but I just love a shakeup in the middle of a season.
Because I think this is different than like getting screwed over by a stupid journey that you couldn't opt out of. This is like, yes, you can get screwed in like the numbers or like the groups that you're with, but I think there's so much room for interesting drama and like
Hmm.
I feel like it makes the rest of the game deeper having more people know each other ahead of time. I just think it's more fun.
Especially if this is a if it's a 3-person tribe, if it's a 3-tribe season.
Yeah.
I can't have one tribe just be decimated. Like I don't like the idea. I don't know.
Even
Give
like
me 2 tribes
evenly.
of 9 is what I want.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I want to vote for,
Even if
people.
it's like an even everyone's going to tribal, I want there to be mix-ups.
Right.
I don't want it to feel like it's three separate like shows that I'm watching.
Right.
Anyways,
Let's talk about the last one, advantages. This one is the most, I would say, controversial
leading.
leading of the ones this time. We had a similar one last time, which was that's the whole bit was the
Yeah.
final the live reunion.
Yeah.
Was it yeah. Advantages. More gameplay. Advantages are an exciting way to give players the power to influence the game. How much power do you want advantages to have in Survivor 50? The first one is minimal power. I want advantages to be rare and limited in power, forcing the players to rely primarily on their strategic, social, and physical games. The second
Which you would
is
think is sort of like the premise of the show.
right. Survivor. Outwit,
Right.
outplay, outlast.
Yeah.
Strategic power. I want advantages that are powerful enough to create some uncertainty and risk, adding a layer of complexity for the players to deal with. Dynamic power. I want to amplify the impact and fun of advantages, so they offer enough power to shake up the game so that even players on the bottom have a fighting chance.
Be so for real.
I want you to name one scenario in the last 8 seasons where one of your little advantages paved the way for an underdog to win the game.
Yeah.
There probably are some. I can't think of any, but
I mean, one that's really controversial is when Erica got to turn back time
the most controversial thing I would say of
in the
the last
new
the
era.
last 20 seasons probably. Well, maybe not the
Yeah.
most, but one of the most controversial. Definitely the most controversial of the new era.
Yeah.
I
In a good way.
What got me with the dynamic power is I want to amplify impact and fun of advantages.
Shut up. Like,
I don't
actually,
feel like who are advantages fun for? The audience?
certainly
know.
not.
What did you vote for?
Minimal power, obviously.
I voted for strategic power.
Real. Okay, well, this is the thing: is that people are like, oh, they're trying to get people to split their votes between minimal and
Oh.
strategic, so that it ends up dynamic winning.
That I've seen this
Uh-oh.
before. I
They
know,
did
and I didn't like the ending.
Um,
Well, I guess it depends on how. And I think that's with the wording. How I interpreted it, I guess minimal power is probably what I should have done, because now I'm reading it and I'm like, minimal power probably means like just idols, like an idol or two.
Yeah.
Strategic power in my head was like, I don't know.
Yeah, and see that's where I get like concerned because I'm like, what do they think that they're operating under at this point? It's like
Right.
I would argue that in a lot of most cases, at least like the way you acquire them, the like advantages and everything, how they're played, like would they call it currently strategic? And I'm
Right.
like, I want to dial it back as much as Survivor will dial it back.
Right. And I guess that's why this question specifically raises a lot of concern, not concern, but like puts people's radars up, because it's like the wording here is very vague. Like what, like it should have been
What
like
does that
this
entail?
advantage of the game, this advantage of the game. Because to me, when I read, I want baseline, I want idols in the game no matter what. I like having
Yeah.
hidden immunity idols, but to me, a hidden immunity idol is something that is powerful enough to create some uncertainty and risk. But now that I'm reading it, I'm also like, an idol is also something that is rare and limited, but is
Yeah.
rare, but it's not limited in power. I would argue the idol is one of the most powerful advantages in the game.
I
So to me, I'm like, what
agree.
is an advantage that is limited in power and rare? That's not a hidden immunity idol to me.
Is that exactly like is that a steal a vote or something? Like
Right.
I don't know.
But we're
I
not. But then, okay, so it's limited in power, but it's definitely not rare. Y'all are handing steal votes out like it's fucking
or
candy.
maybe it's like an idol that's only good for a certain amount of tribals,
Yeah, maybe
like
like a legacy advantage.
something, but like just something more chill. I just
Yeah.
I'm worried about letting production know that I want advantages at all.
Yeah, and where they'll take that.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, everybody.
Yeah.
Sorry for the longer episode.
I'm not sorry.
Hopefully you're engaged. Piper.
Pepper, no.
Piper, no.
I'm not sorry about the longer episode because I think it's fun.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. Um, Slay. Well, thank you all for watching. This has been a great episode. I'm gonna name you 5 really crazy moments in Survivor real
I was
quick.
hoping.
5 insane. See, now I'm remembering that this is happening, but I didn't think of any. 5. Okay, and I'm forgetting what I've said in the past. Also, okay. 5 iconic things that are what is it? More dramatic or more exciting? More dramatic.
Dramatic.
More dramatic. Can we talk about I think I said this one. The All Stars tribe swap where Boston Rob and Amber are split up and Boston Rob looks at Lex and says keep her safe. And then Lex keeps Amber safe and then he votes Lex out. That's so dramatic, crazy. Talk about how in what's another season of Survivor? I can't even think of. Oh, Korong, when Caleb almost dies in Korong and they have to
Oh
medically
yeah.
evacuate him. That's insane. Let's talk about another medical evacuation in David versus Goliath when what's his name? The guy that went home because his back broke. It didn't break. It's something like that. He hurt his back and then they had to get him out of the game. And Nick Wilson was almost voted out, but then he wasn't voted out and he ended up winning the game. That's insane.
I have another one.
Of course, add to the
When
list.
I think her name is Hannah, she had to leave the game
Oh,
because of her nicotine addiction.
so true. And another Hannah that caused a crazy dramatic moment in Millennials versus Gen X when Hannah wrote down, I forget, Hannah wrote down somebody's name and then crossed it out and wrote the other name. And she was up in the booth for so long. People, like, Jeff, like, peeked in and was like, is she okay? What's going on in there? Because she was so anxious about having to vote somebody.
Mhm.
Um, and one last dramatic moment to top all dramatic moments, something more dramatic than the live reunion would obviously have to be
Or
when
the reunion in Fiji.
right, that's exactly what I mean. The when in not millennium, when Eric gives up immunity. Did I say that already? I think I said that already, but Fans versus Favorites won when they find out that it's not a final 3 and it's in fact a final 2 and that the Black Widow Brigade has to be broken up and they have to vote
Mm,
Saria at the final 3.
yeah.
GAG.
Yeah. There we
Thank you all
go.
for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Something to ask for the fans. I'm thinking about buying stuff from the TikTok shop. Should I do it? Yes or no?
Immediately no.
Why not?
I
Support
just
a small
don't.
business.
Yeah, but like
I've
maybe
never done
not
it.
through TikTok. I don't know. I've never done it either, but it feels like Temu
I saw
scammy.
Sophia Nygaard.
Yeah.
She did it, and everything came okay.
I don't think it did come okay.
Did I not watch the whole video?
I thought some of the things were like not as great, or like
Hmm.
maybe some things like didn't come or something.
We'll see. I'll let y'all know. Comment what I should do, yes or no.
I feel like it's
And
kind of addicting. Like I don't think I want that.
well,
I also
there's a specific hair product that I want that
mm,
advertises on the TikTok shop. I can get it online from their own personal shop. The money goes to the same people.
I also just hate the
But
concept of TikTok shop. I think is my issue, and like I
so I
won't
shouldn't
support
support it,
that.
is what you're saying,
Yeah, because I just want TikTok to be like fun. I don't want like
right?
ads and monetary things being shoved down my throat every 5 seconds.
Well, let me know. Like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube. If you want more additional content, you can follow us on our TikTok and our Instagram at Making Fire Pod. And we'll see y'all next week for episode 5 of Survivor 48. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye. I can't wait.